If you're like a lot of us, you try to protect the environment, right? You wouldn't dream of tossing a plastic bottle out your car window. Maybe you drive a small car or a hybrid. You use your own water bottle. Maybe you even ride your bike to work and support local farming. You may even have quit eating meat because you know it saves 400 gallons of fresh water per person per day. But here's some bad news. Your tiny efforts, noble though they may be, will mean almost nothing if the U.S. military continues to behave like there's no tomorrow. In fact, that's likely to be our legacy, the last empire destroyed by its own hubris.
Boys, don't get any ideas. I have 2 words for you: predator drones. You will never see it coming.
A drone. Here we see the bird drone. Look how amazing this bird drone is. It literally looks like a bird. It has artificial feathers on it that make it look like a bird. It has engines on it. And here we have the recon instrumentation up above, and then we have some down below. When I asked my friend, who is one of the world's foremost authorities in atmospheric science, about the artificial snow that is falling all over North America, I asked him, what is this aerosol polymer compound? This is Rev Michelle Hopkins. Some images that Jay took. Thank you, Jay, for these wonderful images that you've taken that were in preparation for this storm. This is how our skies were prepared for this storm. I'm going to zoom in on this. I've got some things to show you. First of all, we see pinkness in the sky. Now, this is the kind of pinkness that you would see when they're using aluminum-tipped fiberglass. The Air Force refers to this as chaff. We're going to look at some dark globules from chemtrails that I've shown you before that actually killed the birds that were in our skies, and some white globules along with those. Now we understand these white globules are apparently super absorbent polymers, preparing the sky to create snow. But what are the dark globules? The United States has been hard-pressed to dispose of its depleted uranium, its nuclear waste. And scientists have decided to use it by aerosoling it in the sky in a project to fuse inorganic material with organic material. This is an actual project they're doing. They've been involved with for some years now. They have been taking inanimate objects and animate objects, in other words, inorganic materials and organic materials, phasing them together to create a new particle. A new mechanical organic particle, a cyborg organism. Well, the obvious question becomes, what new species are they creating with this project overhead right now, and why are they creating it? what we're understanding is they have fused these polymers with organic material, with organisms. During this time that all of these people in this region, Region 3, and in other regions as well, all over the U.S., and in other places in Canada and other places, are becoming ill not just with H1N1, but with a myriad of different illnesses of different types, pseudo-flu-like symptoms, some of which are killing people. And all the while, these people are raining down on us fused materials
San Francisco Peak. There's many medicines on the hills. They want to take contaminated contaminated water and turn it into snow. Artificial snow and sprayed on a mountain that's very sacred to the indigenous people. Medicine Lake. Medicine Lake. That's another sacred site. A lake that they want to destroy with their toxic chemicals. The Mojave tribe. They dump chromium into the Mother Earth, and it got into the water, the streams underneath the earth, and possibly went into Colorado River. The Mojave people. You ask why we walk? We walk to protect our sacred sites. But again, we wouldn't tear down the church of anybody. We would not never go over to their sacred grounds or their cemeteries and start desecrating their sites. So I want to thank you for this interview. I hope you can come join us and walk with us to Washington, D.C., protect sacred sites, the environment, health issues, and peace and sovereignty. So I want to thank you very much.
Okay.
So we wanted to ask you, I guess, about that first walk and how this walk came about for you.
Well, the first walk was 1978, and it was called for because of legislation. 11 pieces of legislation were introduced in the Senate and the House, which would have abrogated all the treaties in America with the U.S. and Indian tribes. So we did the best we could. We walked across this country, and we collected over 1,500,000 signatures. We defeated the legislation, and we won. We were victorious. So 5 years ago, we started planning a memorial run. Not memorial, but to celebrate that. So we would run again. But global warming was happening. There was a lot of talk about global warming. And we've heard a lot about it. So it's affecting us on the reservation with the medicinal plants, with water being drained off by the Corps of Engineers. So we decided to walk across this country and call attention to the environment, call attention to water and to the air, pollution in the air, and the contamination of soil. And also for the protection of sacred sites, which is a major contention these days with Native people, because more and more developing people like Walmarts and Kmarts, they're building big super centers over some of our graves. And we've stopped in 2 places, but it just goes on and on and on. We just keep running into these people that are developing over our sacred sites. So that's it in a nutshell.
Do you vote?
Huh?
Do you vote?
No.
Why not?
Because the vote in America doesn't recognize, they almost sequestered us out of the voting system. I mean, we can vote, but I don't.
I stand on the shores of both indigenous free American people as well as tribal African people. So my feet are on 2 shores. But I want you to understand and to remember, this is not simply an issue of a black person got killed. This is an issue not of just systemic racism. This is an issue of colonization. And I've acted in both of my communities, and I can tell you, we have to do a whole lot more than just think about the color of the person that got killed. What is it that's in the mind of the person that does that? Do you not know that Pine Ridge Reservation has the highest mortality, the highest unemployment? The very first person in history that died, that put his hands up, was Chief Bigfoot at Wounded Knee. And I want you to remember that. I want you to remember 5 years before Trayvon Martin was killed, there were 2 Hispanic men killed in California. And the police got off, the cop that shot him said he was dressed like a thug. That was his justification. So we're going to have to unite as black, brown, red, white, and yellow people and understand that colonialism is the enemy here. The chant should be, whose street, our streets, tear up the concrete. Tear up the concrete and make something new.